The other day, I posted a video talking about the worst signings of the 2023 MLB offseason. And since I talked about some of the bad, I also want to talk about some of the good. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the best signings of the 2023 offseason. But before we get into the actual video, let me know down in the comments what you thought the best signing was. And without further ado, let's get started. Getting us started is the Washington Nationals, who signed Jeimer Candelario to a one-year, $5 million contract. He was coming off a down year where he only had an 80 WRC+, but he has completely turned it around so far this year by putting up a 255, 333, 454 slash line with 9 homers, 33 RBIs, and a 112 WRC+. This is definitely going to help the Nats to hopefully get a decent return at the deadline where they'll probably be selling. Heading over to Los Angeles with the Dodgers, they had one of the bigger steals of the offseason by signing Shelby Miller to a one-year, $1.5 million contract. After how bad Miller has been for the last half-decade since being traded from Atlanta, pretty much no one could have predicted him being as good as he's been this season. So far, he's put up a 2.4 ERA in 30 innings with a 20.58 K percentage, and it's great to see him bounce back after a rough couple seasons. The Red Sox signed Chris Martin to a 2-year, $17.5 million contract this offseason in hopes to strengthen their awful bullpen. And Martin has done just that. He's put up a 1.9 ERA in 23 innings so far, and he's been great at limiting walks with an extremely low 2.2% walk percentage. Another great signing this offseason comes from the Angels, who signed Carlos Estevez to a 2-year, $13.5 million contract. So far this season, he's looked like one of the best closers in baseball with a 1.74 ERA in 31 innings and a 31% K percentage. With the way he has been performing, $6.8 million per year is looking like an absolute steal. Head over to Chicago with the Cubs. They made a great signing in Cody Bellinger. They signed him to a one-year, $17.5 million contract, which a lot of people viewed as an overpay at the time, but he's earned every penny, putting up a 252, 319, 454 slash line with 7 home runs and 105 WRC+, all while cutting his K percentage by 8% and increasing his walk percentage by 2%. On top of the offense he has brought to the Cubs, he's continued to be a great defensive player, putting up 4 outs above average between first base and center field. It's honestly been great to see him have a bounce-back year this year after how bad he's been the last couple seasons. Heading back over to Boston, they had another really great addition to their bullpen in Kenley Jansen. They signed him to a 2-year, $32 million contract, and while he hasn't completely returned to his dominant self, he has certainly been great for them, putting up a 3.08 ERA in 26.1 innings, and he has significantly cut back on the amount of homers he's given up this year, which is really impressive considering he's playing at one of the more hitter-friendly parks in Fenway Park this year. The Toronto Blue Jays signed Kevin Kiermaier to a one-year, $9 million contract, and while they knew they were getting a great defender, I don't think many people saw the offensive production that he's put up coming with his contract as well. While he's still one of the best defenders in baseball with 9 outs above average, he's having one of the best offensive seasons of his career, putting up a 275, 329, 435 slash line with an 112 WRC+, and he has racked up 8 stolen bases up on top of that. He's truly been fun to watch this year and could potentially be an all-star caliber player. Heading back over to Chicago, the Cubs had another great signing in Dansby Swanson. They signed him to a 7-year, $177 million contract, and so far he looks like he might be the only star shortstop that has signed between the last 2 seasons that is actually living up to his contract, as he's getting it done on both sides of the field. He's putting up a 268, 358, 412 slash line with 8 home runs and 33 RBIs, which is good for a 114 WRC+, not to mention he's cut back on his strikeouts while walking more. On top of the great offensive production, he's been one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball with 10 outs above average. It's been really great to see Dansby reducing after a lot of Braves fans were hating on him leaving. Heading back up to Boston, they had another great signing, but this one wasn't a bullpen pitcher. They signed Justin Turner to a 2-year, $21.7 million contract, which is looking like a steal at this point. With his age, people weren't sure that he could keep the production at the plate going this season, but he's done just that, putting up a 278, 355, 451 slash line while slugging 11 homers and 41 RBIs. He's also done a great job of limiting the strikeouts, as he's only striking out at a 15.3% clip. He wasn't a flashy signing at the time, but he's been a great one nonetheless. Heading over to LA, the Angels had another great signing in what was one of the more underrated off seasons in baseball. They signed Brandon Drury to a 2-year, $17 million contract, and he's provided a much-needed boost to one of the less productive lineups in baseball last year. He's putting up a 273, 318, 500 slash line while mashing 13 homers and 41 RBIs, which is good for a 121 WRC+. Honestly, he's looking like he might be the most underrated signing of the offseason with how good he's playing and how cheap the Angels got him for. Heading over to Texas, the Rangers signed Nathan Eovaldi to a 2-year, $34 million contract in what is looking like an absolute steal of a contract, especially after they lost DeGrom to Tommy John surgery. He's done a great job of controlling the strike zone, only walking batters at a 5.4% clip and limiting home runs, which has really contributed to him putting up a Cy Young caliber 2.8 ERA in 99 innings. He's also done a great job of missing barrels and keeping the ball on the ground with a 50.8% ground ball rate. He's honestly been one of my favorite signings this year. Speaking of another former Red Sox player that left this offseason, JD Martinez signed a 1-year $10 million contract with the Dodgers to be reunited with his best friend in Mookie Betts. He's been having a great season and truly has looked like he's returned to his silver slugger / all-star self. While he is striking out at a higher rate than we're used to seeing, he's having one of the best power seasons of his career, with 16 home runs and a .560 slugging percentage so far. On top of that, he's returned to driving in runs at an elite rate with 48 already this year. It's been great to see him bounce back. A signing that has really flown under the radar is Wade Miley. He signed a 1-year, $4.5 million contract with the Brewers to round out the back end of their rotation, and he's done more than just that, putting up a 2.91 ERA in 52 innings. And while he isn't the hardest throwing pitcher, he's done a great job of controlling the strike zone, only walking batters at a 5.3% clip, is giving up a lot of weak contact with only a 32.8 hard hit percentage, and is keeping the ball on the ground with a 38.9% ground ball rate. He's truly been a great pickup for the Brew Crew this year. Andrew McCutchen returning to the Pirates on a 1-year, $5 million deal this offseason has been one of the most underrated signings. He's having his best offensive year since leaving Pittsburgh and has been walking at a ridiculous 17.2% clip, while posting a 128 WRC plus with 9 homers. He's also been a big reason why the Pirates were even competing to win their division at one point this season. The Kansas City Royals had a really nice signing in Aroldis Chapman, who they signed to a 1-year, $3.75 million contract. After having a rough season in 2022, he has really returned to his dominant form with a 2.73 ERA in 26.2 innings, and has been striking out batters at an insane 42.5% clip. He's also done a much better job of this year of not letting hitters elevate the ball, as he's yet to give up a homer and has a 44.4% ground ball rate. He's most likely going to get traded to a contender at the deadline, but it's been great to see him bounce back this season. Another pitcher that was a good signing is Michael Wacha. He signed with the Padres on a 4-year, $26 million contract and has put up a 2.9 ERA in 80 innings. His strikeout numbers won't blow you away, but he's done a great job of limiting hard contact and not giving up walks. Heading back over to LA with the Angels, the last signing of their offseason turned out to be a pretty great one. They signed Matt Moore to a 1-year, $7.55 million contract, and he's earned every penny. He was great with Texas last year, and with the numbers he's putting up this year, they are definitely missing him. He has a 1.44 ERA in 25 innings, and he's been keeping the ball on the ground while limiting walks. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and comment your favorite signing of the offseason, and I hope you all have a great day, and until next time, peace.